There are really bad smells in the neighborhood that residents have to contend with.
What happened? Well, I can't hear the airplane.
We have a lot of noise. Peaceful day at the river.
Down the street to the garden. Is the noises getting picked up or anything?
I would say climate change really is exacerbating many of the existing environmental problems that cities like Newark face.
If I look outside my window, I can see the garbage incinerator. It really shouldn't be like that, you know. These type of factories and Superfunds and stuff should not be that close to Black and brown communities.
It shouldn't matter where our zip code is or what the color of our skin is. You know, we all deserve to live in a cleaner environment.
But these will be $5. Yep. And we got cherry tomatoes in there and teardrop tomatoes. Yeah, we grow it all this stuff we grew here. So yeah, this is the hoop house. We want to get more close and in depth. Yeah, we got some really wild overgrown tomatoes and stuff. Look, this one fell over. So yeah, they grow really crazy. This is a whole bush of them. It's almost about as tall as me, and I'm 6'6".
A lot of things that we need to grow, off the time we have to grow them on these raised beds because of, contamination, in the ground.
Down Bottom Farms is one of the few green spaces in the Ironbound, one of the most densely populated neighborhoods in Newark, New Jersey. They host a farmer's market weekly in hopes of making healthy food more accessible.
All right, no problem.
Offering teachings on food security and educating residents about the environmental injustices happening in the community. The Ironbound is home to 55,000 residents. The majority are Black and brown, and 28% are living below the poverty line. The Ironbound is also home to factories, warehouses, the state's largest garbage incinerator, and a Superfund site posing serious health risks to the community.
Superfund is a site or an area that's been classified as highly contaminated, a national priority list of contaminated sites that are a priority for cleanup.
One of the largest cleanups involves a former diamond alkali chemical plant and cancer-causing chemicals that were dumped into the Passaic River. In the 1950s and 60s, the company produced Agent Orange, an herbicide used in the Vietnam War to destroy trees and plants. The Superfund in the Ironbound is one of the 74 sites nationwide that are both more vulnerable to climate change and have uncontrolled toxic wastes that could damage residents' health.
You know, the Superfund declaration happened in the early 80s, and it's taken, 30, 40 years to get to a place where we're actually seeing the design and potentially implementation of a cleanup.
The initial cleanup stages of the Superfund site started in 2001, and in 2012, the Environmental Protection Agency removed highly contaminated sediment from the Passaic River. But the process is slow-moving. Residents and activists say they're troubled by the decades of rampant pollution, and they fear what could happen as sea levels rise and hurricanes worsen.
We do have high rates of asthma, and generally, people in low-wealth communities may have just less access to good health care systems.
According to the EPA, about 1 in 4 children in Newark have asthma. The city's asthma rate is 3 times higher than the national average. The next phase of cleanup at the Superfund site has yet to begin. According to the EPA, the design phase of the cleanup won't be completed until possibly 2022, and it would take several years to finish after that. The EPA declined interview requests, but said that complex negotiations with polluters, the companies responsible, have tied up the process.
I grew up just 2 or 3 blocks from the Passaic River. Most of the time, we didn't even know the river was here. We had very little access to it. It was sort of covered up by industries.
The Riverbank Park is the largest recreational space in the Ironbound neighborhood. In the early 2000s, it was closed off for a few years due to contamination found in the soil.
I'll have to play in the park
parking lot of
Activists Nancy Zach and Arnold Cohen were vocal about the crucial role of the park in the community. They've been fighting for environmental concerns in Newark since the 1980s.
In the same way, people are, we have like half a dozen gyms in the area because people want to work out and care about their health. Or, any day we walk out by the park, you see people out there running and playing soccer because they're concerned about feeling good and taking care of themselves. We need to address the environment so that we can all have better health. And that's something that we can't do individually. We have to do collectively. We have to do as a group. My complaining about lack of trees isn't going to be able to get those trees in place. It really takes a community to get this done.
Activists in Newark are continuing the fight for environmental justice. 19-year-old organizer Naheem Carter started volunteering at the Ironbound Community Corporation when he was 10 years old. And today he leads climate protests and teaches gardening to the youth in the community.
This is sage, and we're just cutting them up, so we're harvesting them so we could bundle them in packages. So yeah, just to sell them back to the community and stuff like that. Just love it here. I'd rather be here than anywhere. Growing up, there wasn't a lot of green spaces. I had to, go venture out to find these green spaces and stuff like that. But I felt like I should have green spaces in my community. So thank God to the people, before my time who really advocated for green infrastructure and stuff like that in the Ironbound. So yeah, Chris, can you help me out with this real quick?
Like that. As people walk by and they're like, you know what? Yeah, we're like surrounded by all these industries and pollution and bad smells. But at the end of the day, as we walk down the street, there's something hopeful to look forward to. And then, it's this little farm. I think we have enough mint right now. It's pretty good. It's starting to flower here. I'm hoping that we'll have a better environment, right? Where we're able to come outside and breathe clean air, right? We can enjoy a summer of gardening or here at the farm and it not be as interrupted by the noise pollution or the bad smells in the neighborhood or the trucks that are coming down the road, or like there's more policies in place, right, that mandate, the stopping of the garbage incinerator from burning in our neighborhoods. It's a whole bunch of things that I will hope to see in the future, that I can pass the torch, right, to Gerard or Naheem or Keon, and let them continue on the fight.
Being so young right now, I feel like I have the power to really make change in the community and inspire other people to keep the fight going.